Thank you, guys. SciTech is coming up next. Arthur Lee.
Okay. Please help me show the PowerPoints. Thank you. Okay, I will make a short introduction about me and my company. Actually, I think I'm one of the youngest speaker here, and because my company named SAI just listed on NASDAQ last month, and we are a clean energy mining company, and we reuse the heat from the miners to provide to take as an electric boiler to provide heating services for greenhouses, warehouses. So today my topic is cheap heating, water cooling. Just as the speaker said, that the carbon emission and the carbon footprint is a very important thing for the miners recent years, especially after the regulation from the New York. We know that the miners will face a big problem, maybe now, maybe in the future. Also, as a Chinese miner, we face the same question from Chinese regulation last year. So here's I want to share some points, some perspectives from young Asian miners. And also, it's the first time for me to make a speech in American. And it's my first time to come to Texas. I remember in my primary school, I just first heard of the Houston is from the Houston Rockets, Big Young. Yeah. And the next time, after 12 years or 15 years, I came to Texas. I find that Texas people is very friendly, because when I came to this hotel and when I get into the elevator, it shows me that, wow, the Texas people is very friendly, because the door, there has no close button on the elevator, but only open door button on the elevator. It shows that Texas people is open for the miners. Yeah. And actually, I want to talk about the details about my topic, the cheap heating, water cooling. So this is one of our products, cabinet. We can contain about 72 miners, and we provide the liquid cooling services. And we reuse the heat to the hot water and provide hot water to the greenhouses and the communities. So that's our solution for the mining. And today I want to talk about 4 questions about why BTC and why mining and why Sci and why our solution SAIHUB. The first question is about why BTC. Here are all miners. I think that everyone has his own reasons to buy Bitcoin, to mine Bitcoin, but I will show my own perspectives. Here is the one small question, and the debt or asset. I think that the fiat is one of the debts in the world, not only the Chinese fiat or American fiat dollars or Japanese dollars. It's the same, because we can show that in the left picture, the purchasing power of the US dollar, it's decreased largely. And the right picture shows that if you invest $100 in Bitcoin, after 10 years, how much money you can get? Around $9 million to Bitcoin. So it's told us that Bitcoin is the best asset of the decade. And second is, what's the goods and the currency? What's the difference between that? I think that asset and stock, maybe for, especially for General Z, they think that asset and stock are based on certain entity. And they are more like goods, because if you want to trade your house, you want to trade your stock, you may rely to the exchanges, or you may rely to the governments. And when the war comes, just like the Ukraine, the stocks stopped, and you can sell your house. But Bitcoin has better liquidity and value. And we can see that the right picture shows that these are the top 10 entities, the biggest market value entities in the world. And the first one is the gold. And the second one is now maybe maybe not Microsoft, because it's an old picture, but Bitcoin is the only one decentralized, digitalized ecosystem. So we know that the future for Bitcoin maybe comes to the position that the gold have now. And it's very interesting. Bitcoin take 10 years to get that position. And here's a very interesting news 100 years before. The left picture is from a newspaper that President Roosevelt just be the president of the America, and he said that there are some prohibits for the gold. But I don't know whether this situation will come again. But what I know is that there are so many institutional investments on Bitcoin. There are so many listed companies and the private companies. They buy Bitcoin, they participate in the Bitcoin mining. And this picture is very interesting. The left picture shows that one of the listed company, the stock from a Chinese educational company, after the policy from China, the stocks decreased maybe 97%. But the second picture shows that after the same regulation from the government, one of the powerful governments on the world, but only it takes 3 months, it can get back and it can be stronger. That shows that Bitcoin is one of the most strong ecosystems in the world. That when we face the policy, face the gas from maybe the government or someone, it can recover so soon and it can be stronger. So the second question is why you want to choose Bitcoin? Why through mining to get more Bitcoin? The first thing is I think that trading is just like a way of saving because you can store your wealth by trading Bitcoin. But how much money you get, you only can change to some Bitcoins, maybe 1 Bitcoin or 2 Bitcoin, maybe 100 Bitcoins. But it stays the same. It's 100 Bitcoin equals 100 Bitcoins. It cannot change for more. But mining is more like mining Bitcoin is more like a way to insure and settle, just like the central bank do, to do the insurance and the settlements, and to get profit from the insurance and from the settlements. So here's a very interesting economic problems. So about Keynes or Davis, I think that trading is more like a profit from the fiat inflation. It's from the Keynes economics. Yeah, because the inflation, so Bitcoin price go up. But I think mining is different because mining can profit from fiat inflation and the chip shortage. We can show that in this picture, in the right picture, that you get the Bitcoins from mining. So the Bitcoin price is relied on the inflation of dollars. But at the same time, when you buy the mining machines, there's another profit resources you can get because it's easy for the price of Bitcoin to go up twice from 30K to 60K. But it's hard for the mining hash rate to go up so soon because you need the production, you need to build a mining center. So there's a time circle about 6 to 12 months that the price of Bitcoin goes up, but the hash rate didn't. So you can get more profit from that, and your miner, the price of your miner goes up too. And we see that there are so many small countries around the big countries like China and America. They plan to go into this industry because they think that there's a way to do the energy revolution to change their situation, because the situation for them now is energy involution. If a country just get profit from the energy export, like the Middle Asia, the only revenue for them, or the main revenue for them, is from the energy exports. It's dependent and unsustainable, and it can cause so many problems in their country. But if they change their energy using way to provide electricity for the mining or for the digital world, for the IDC, so the system and the ecosystem for them totally changed. They can have a autonomous and premium and extensible industry inside their own country. They can transfer their own energy, maybe the cheapest energy in the world, to the digital gold. And they can help them solve the energy problem, especially even the financial problem. So here's here is the two pictures that I want to show. I usually show to our investors. If you have $100 million, what should you choose? Maybe you should choose to store them in the bank. But you can see in the left picture how many money has been printed in 2020. And you will face the inflation, restriction, financial crisis, and more problems. But if you choose to buy them with 1E hash rate, to buy some mining machines, you can get a decentralized and anonymous asset. And there are big protection to have exponential growth. So the third problem is why SAI? Here's I want to talk about my company. First is there's some differences. We know that between the private and public company, and I think that after we listed, and why we choose to list it on Nasdaq is because we want to be an audible and supervised and credible company that more investors can trust us globally. And about the pollution and the clean problem, we think that traditional power face the big problems about the ESG, about the carbon emissions, but we want to use the clean power, especially through our heating reuse ways, and we want to become ESG friendly. Actually, we are maybe the first company in the mining industry to release our ESG report and carbon footprint report last year. And we will also release this report yearly. And also, there's a very, very interesting we talk about that we all know that Bitcoin Pizza Day is for the first transaction that trade for one pizza. And I think that Pizza Day is a good day for trader, and it's the price of the Bitcoin. It shows the price of Bitcoin. But the second picture shows that the founder of the Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, he has predicted that Bitcoin mining will end up where it's cold. And he thinks that we should reuse the heat from the Bitcoin miner to provide heating services. He predicted that 12 years before and on the Bitcoin talk. And we want to set the same day, the 9th August, to become a Bitcoin heat day for miners. We think that miners need a special day for all mining industries. Also, there are so many providers to provide mining services. And the left one is some mining center in China before, maybe 4 years ago. It's illegal and unstable and misleading. And the right picture is our own mining center. We use liquid cooling. We show our professionality and efficient, and it's very transparent. I want to show the main solutions for the mining, and we want to provide for the whole industry, and we want to cooperate with the miners, with the with the power owner, and especially the investors. Here's some status about the three main industry: heating, power, and computer. For the heating industry, we know that around 50% of the electricity produce about 40% of the carbon emission in the world. And there are so many energy used for the heating needs, like the greenhouses, like the hot water, like the community in the north of Asia, north of America. And at the same time, the effects of the power. There are so many power used for different uses, and especially in the computing industry. I heard that there are about 260 terawatt hours electricity used for the computing industry, and among them, 100 terawatt hours electricity is used for the miner. So that means this electricity mainly transferred to the heat, and we need to consume more electricity to do the cooling services. So how could we save the cost from the mining? The one way is we found the more cheap find the cheaper electricity, maybe the hydropower, wind power, but that couldn't solve the problem essentially, because we think that the energy we reuse, there's a big space in energy reuse because much of the electricity has been turned into the heat, and if we can reuse the heat from that, we can save energy for the whole industry. Before, you need two parts of electricity, one for electric heating and another part for the mining. But now maybe you just need one part of electricity. First the mining, then reuse the heat to provide the heating services. So we know that the structure is that the computing industry and the mining industry is essentially the same, because electricity plus data through the chip and algorithm, and we get the value and the heat. And someone knows that electricity can 99% conversion to the heat. So before we try to figure out that how to do a better cooling services. Maybe we use liquid cooling, but we should at the same time to think how to reuse this heat. So here's our, we have 4 parts. The first cap is to solve the heating problems. First, the liquid cooling, then heating reuse. Then box is for the electricity. Maybe we can deploy quickly. And the app is for an algorithm. We can manage our mining pool, our digital assets, our electricity, our heat power at the same time, and it's open source. And the fourth one is the PCB, and we can cooperate with the manufacturer. That Bitmain is our investor. We can cooperate with them to produce a high density chips PCB and to make it more efficient. Here's some pilot we did in China before the Chinese regulation. Here are 10 cabinets and around 700 mining machines, and we reuse all the heat from the mining machines to provide heating services to the greenhouses and the commercial. The space of that is around 30,000 square meters, and we can provide the hot water in the whole winter and all day long hot water for the life. And the thermal efficiency is around 90%. It's the same as the traditional electric boiler, which means that before you use maybe some part of electricity, you consume that to provide hot water. But now you just replace your traditional electric boiler, and you can use the same amount of electricity and produce the same amount of heat. So here's a picture about history. Maybe 100 years ago, there's a pipeline and connect the petrol and the industry to make a big American now. And 10 years ago, Tesla used the battery to connect electricity and automobile to make one of the biggest company in the world now. But in the future, we think that chip will connect electricity and computing and heating, the whole 3 industries together, and to save the cost of the whole 3 industries and to decrease carbon emissions. So we think that's the future. Here's our milestone, and we think that the left picture shows that there are so many directions that the big company major in, like they do liquid cooling, but we think heating recovery is the most important thing we could do. And for chips, there are CPU, GPU, ASIC, but we think ASIC chips and GPU chips is more suitable for heating reuse. So we really looking forward to more companies to do this and maybe cooperate with us, and we together to speed up the heating reuse industries. So here's what our names represent for sustainable computing, available power, and innovative heating. We want to integrate all these 3 industries together and to lower the cost of heating industry, computing industry, and electricity industry at the same time, and to decrease carbon emissions. Maybe in the future, we want to sell the carbon credit. Yeah. So the right side is our information, and we welcome to partners. We want to cooperate with more partners, and we want to provide more heating services in the world, maybe Canada, America, and we want to help the whole industry to lower our carbon emission and to essentially solve our problems from energy. Thank you.
Are there any questions in the group? Okay. If you have just a second, we've got a question here, if that's okay. Thanks.
Hi, Arthur. In terms of your clients' mining capacity, do you have a sweet spot? And also a related question is, what are the differences in your solutions for larger miners versus smaller miners?
Actually, we think that we are not established a pilot in North America, but we are still building it. And before, just as I show the pictures here, this pilot is in Xinjiang province in China before. And after the regulation, we leave from that. And for small miners or the mining companies, we can cooperate in all sides. Maybe you can provide your own miners, and we can provide our technical support, and we can find the places together, maybe the greenhouses, maybe the residential or commercial scenarios, and we can cooperate together to do the mining business. There are so many ways to cooperate. And also, we think that we make our technology open source. So if you are miners, you have your mining machines, you can provide your mining machines, we can mine together. We have our solution to help you to lower down your electricity fee and also lower down the carbon emissions. Or maybe you are just an investor, but you want to get more Bitcoins through mining. We can provide our mining fund. You can be our LP. And also maybe you are a power owner. We can use your electricity, and we can let our own partners, maybe the greenhouses, to come together to do their business, and we do our liquid cooling mining systems, and we provide heat for them. Or you are a greenhouses owner. We can replace your electric boiler, provide heating services, and give you a discount, maybe 50% discount, and to provide heating services and a better heating services. So, and we will take our own machines to your pilots to provide stable heating services. So there are so many ways to cooperate. Yeah.
Thank you. Any more questions? Okay, thank
Okay.
you
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to round up the next group.